Okay, this took me a little while to figure out. Remember, I was just right over there. We jumped this deer a little bit further on in there, so I figured out where it came out, tracked it back to connect it up to the set of tracks that we'd been following all this morning here. Figure out where the running tracks go from there, and we'll show you all that in just a moment here. But remember, we were following this animal down here along this stream, and I kept going on a older set of disturbance and missed this one right here and here, where it crosses the stream right over here. So this is what we were waiting for here, was to finally get some decent sized tracks, and this is the track of the one we've been following all morning. It's come through here quite a few times. Older tracks and fresher tracks, but all the same size. Pretty decent sized animal. Comes through here, and I've now walked through this area figuring this out. So I'm going to kind of breeze through it rather than point out all the tracks, but it makes its way over this way. And the area where we saw him, or I saw him at least, was down there. It's probably about 40 yards that way. So we're coming along this way. And pull through this. Now, we weren't really being very stealthy. This was more just like a shoot for the video here. I completely got wrapped up into that. So the animal here, rather than keep going straight there, makes a turn here, and now it's headed out into this area here. That's an older scat there. So it's coming out into the clearing area of ferns and feeding and whatnot out in there. There's a track down in here, right down in there. And now these, there's a lot of old tracks sticking around in here, but I'm able to, before I was able to just pick up a few here and here to kind of work our way through here. Looks like it's going this way, going that way. So this was an area I had to work through a little bit, and then I started checking the edge to see if I could find the running tracks in there. Couldn't find them, so I figured I had to really track this animal through this to try and figure out how it made it through. And wound up taking a turn over this way. Might have actually come from over there, and then worked my way through this track over here and there. Basically everything was leading over to this far corner here. So now we were just through those trees there. This is the stream right over here, and when we saw the animal, it was just tucked back into this little thicket here. And now the first track that really caught my eye in here, we're gonna be going right through this because that's where the animal had run. And the tracks in here are gonna be running tracks, so they're gonna be a good distance apart. There's one out here that I might have stepped on, but it was the first one that caught my eye. But tucked back in here is this track right here, and this is going to be the start of the whole running sequence. I'll try and give you some. This is all loose and fluffy down in there. Going right through the stick stuff and goes over this tree here. Actually gonna make a turn here rather than go straight. And the next set of tracks that I found here, or up in here on this section here and here. And we'll get out of this thick stuff in a second here. Now I'm looking up in the distance to see if I can see the tracks, and I'll see a disturbance up there, so I'll tuck around this tree here, as I did before. And finding these running tracks can be tough because they're a good distance apart, but you know, when they're fresh like this and in these dry leaves, you know, you have to feel the looseness at the bottom, but that's running track. And then the next set is up in the distance here, all the way up to here, here, and then this section right here, and here, as it makes its way over the log. Now, right over the log, this took me a while to figure out because it stops running. So we just went through that whole section. You can see a little patch of light. And that's the whole section that it ran through. Right here it stopped running, so I was hunting around up there. It comes over this and then goes right through this real thick stuff right here. I'm only picking up a few, as I was going through, picking up a few tracks through here. So we go through there. And it actually comes down through here. Going to come up this way. Here's a track. Here's a track here. And then it's going to just saunter into a regular walk pattern again right away, which is very different than a deer. Usually these whitetail will just take off and keep running, especially the does. But this one wasn't really wasting any time to getting back to relaxing, knowing that I was probably just wandering through the woods, and if I were trying to follow it, just completely baffled at that point. So work our way over to the tracks here, and here, and here, 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 and then it works its way down this hillside here. You see the tracks up in the distance over there. Now along the stream, when I was coming back to start off, I found a nice fresh buck rub in there. So that's kind of supporting my hunch here, and the size of these tracks, even this behavior of how it just went straight back to a walk seems very buck-like. Let's follow this a little bit more here. It's been probably an hour of me just stumbling around in there looking for how to get out of there. So let's take this, move a little bit more slower on it, and see if we can get back into closer range. I'm probably just going to leave the camera on and not talk too much anymore, and pay attention to how I'm moving a bit. The leaves are really dry. And if you guys see the deer on camera, let me know. It's kind of doing a little, keep taking a look over in the direction where we were further back there. It kind of works its way back along this stream here.